Hey everyone, thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. It is a rainy day outside, which is perfect because we are going to be doing something a little bit special for you about how to spruce up your she shed or your gardening area. And we are super inspired by this article that was in Somerset Home. And I can't give you too much of a sneak peek, but we're going to be doing something really awesome. So I want you to grab this magazine later and check out page 90, but we're going to complete what was in here. And we're going to be working today on a stencil of the potting shed, which is super awesome. So if you've got a she shed or if you love to do gardening, this is going to be a great little add-on to your space to really personalize it and make it unique. And you can grab any sort of piece of wood here. And we happen to have just a basic piece of pine. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a stain because it's a brand new piece. I want it to look a little bit older. So I'm going to take the chocolate from Fusion Mineral Paint, and this is usually a solid paint color, but I'm actually going to add some water to it and I'm going to turn it into a stain. So if you've got this color at home already and you need a stain, all you need to do is add a touch of water. So I'm thinking like 1 part water to 1 part paint. Super duper easy. Where's everyone watching from today? What's the weather like there? It is rainy, but it's perfect for thinking of what to do with your garden. All these beautiful flowers that are growing. Oh, I love spring so much.
Well, we need the rain, right, to get that grass green.
We do.
The flowers coming up.
All right, so my name is Jenny Lynn. I'm the creator of Fusion Mineral Paint. And if you haven't heard of it before, it's a really wonderful DIY, typically furniture paint, but decor paint as well. And I'm just making a stain out of our chocolate color. I love the chocolate color because you can actually use it to coat over something. Say for example, you have an old piece of furniture and it might not be a very nice color. Say it's like an orange stain. And I don't love orange stain, but if I'm gonna paint over it with say a white to get a whole new look, and I'm gonna sand through and distress through, guess what you're gonna see under there? You're still gonna see that orange stain. So what I like to do is actually put a coat of chocolate Fusion Mineral Paint on first, solid opaque. I don't usually thin it down, but because I'm going on to bare raw wood here, I am thinning it to make it look like a stain. But that way, if I were to use the chocolate straight onto that piece of furniture and then put one of our light colors over top, say casement, which is a really bright white, and I were to distress through, I'd actually see this really nice, deep, dark, rich chocolate coming through. So that's just my little tip and trick that I do. I paint first a base layer, so to speak, of this chocolate first. All right, so that was really simple, straightforward, and easy. Now, we are gonna have a giveaway today for you, and we wanna know, what would you put on your sign for your she shed or your outdoor gardening area? What phrase or what saying would you put on it?
Oh, I just saw one that says, "Confidence is beautiful."
Ooh, I love that.
Yeah.
So check that out. We started off like this, and I just mixed a little bit of water in with the chocolate, and there's our stain.
And it literally dries in minutes.
Yeah, you can already see it starting to dry, but I'm gonna set this one to the side because I already have one that I did before in prep for you guys. So let's go ahead and grab that one. There we go. And here it is dried. So as it dries, you can see the color will change a little bit. It gets a little bit softer, really quite beautiful.
But still significantly darker than the raw pine.
Yes, so we'll set that to the side. All right, now this is when it gets really super fun. We have this amazing paint texturizer. It's called Fresco, and it's just a paint powder additive, and all you do is add a little bit of it into the paint, and it creates instant age and texture. So I'm gonna show you how easy this is. I'm gonna take our casement, which unfortunately was covered over.
Well, yes.
Actually, no, we're gonna do picket fence.
Okay.
Let's do picket fence. That's a little bit more straightforward since you can actually see the label and the color name. This is one of our brightest whites in the range that we offer. And I'm gonna take our tester. These testers are awesome. They're about $5 in stores. So to do a project like this, you only need a couple of them, and it's very inexpensive. And we have retailers all around the world. So if you're looking for a retailer and you're not sure where to go, check out our website, fusionmineralpaint.com, and click at the very top right hand side. It says where to buy. And we are all around the world. Where are you watching from today?
I think I saw someone from Germany. And where else do I see here?
Check this out. So I'm doing about 2 parts paint to 1 part powder. It's really, 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 really simple. Okay, just going to rinse this out. Grab my other brush. There we go. And we're gonna stir. All we need to do is just give it a little mix in there. We're not stirring it up really super perfect. We want to have a couple of those lumps in there. Kind of like making pancakes, you know, when you're trying to smooth everything out. We're actually not trying to smooth it out. We want to have a little bit of that texture, a little bit of those lumps in there. You see that? Mm-hmm. Fabulous. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this onto my board. And I'm going to kind of lay it flat and drag across. See how I create that texture right there? That's by having the paint laid flat and just dragging it across. I want to leave behind all this wonderful, beautiful texture. Why? Because it's going to be a vintage sign, and vintage signs typically have been painted over and over many times, or they've been time weathered, sun weathered, worn by all the elements, the water, the rain, etc. And you get that sort of old texture. But look at how easy this is. You just slap it on. There's no rhyme or reason. I kind of just drag it across sideways. And you saw how easy it was to mix. I really just put my brush in there and gave it a stir for about 10 seconds.
And when you're going to the edge, are you kind of putting in a little bit lighter pressure there?
Yeah, so I'm kind of doing a dry brush over towards this area. And in the middle, I'm doing a little bit more texture because this is where I'm going to have my words. And I really want the texture to show up more on my text when I put my stencil down. But really, it's just all personal preference, whichever you prefer. I'm just giving a little dry brush towards the edge there. You can see I didn't use more than a tablespoon of the Fresco and about...
And a tester.
Yeah, about a tester size, really, for the board. And I still have leftover. But a little goes a long way, and that's the beautiful thing. Now, the great thing with Fusion Mineral Paint is it actually has a built-in top coat, so you don't need to worry about this. This is waterproof. You don't need to add anything else onto it. It's fantastic as it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to dry, and if you put a thick amount here, you'll actually end up with having some really luscious cracks. If you have a hair dryer, you can also force it to dry faster than it should, and the cracks become even more evident and bigger. So, all right, so that probably needs about a half an hour to an hour to dry.
Maybe half an hour at the most, I would say. It dries super quickly.
There's the dry one. We just did it at noon.
All right, so we'll set that other one aside. And grab this little guy, and we're gonna continue on with the fun here. We're gonna do a stencil. Now, who here is new to stenciling? Who here is a little bit intimidated to stencil? Anyone ever tried it before? Well, if you hadn't, I'm going to show you how easy it is.
There's quite a few comments.
All right. All right, so here we go. This is going to be our potting shed stencil. I love it. So Donna of Funky Junk Interiors, she actually created this beautiful stencil, and it's part of a range of Funky Junk stencils that she has. She calls them old sign stencils. I so encourage you to go to Pinterest, look her up, go find it. It is incredible what she does with sort of refurbishing old different things that she finds, and then she creates beautiful work with them. All
Okay.
upcycled.
So you're going to be doing 1 or 2 colors here.
We're going to do 2 colors.
Okay, and what is the reasoning for that?
Okay, so we're working on a drop shadow stencil. Now, what does that mean? I'll tell you as we start to do it. So stenciling, I'm actually going to be using our natural bristle brush. So you may have seen this one before. Instead of a stencil brush, you can use our natural bristle brush, and you can just put a little bit of paint on it. and then you can dab it off. All right, so instead of using a stencil brush, if you don't have one, you can actually use this. So go ahead, put the stencil down, and I'm doing what's called a drop shadow. So I'm gonna put a dark color on first. Oh, I'm gonna hold that down. So you can dab like this, or you can swirl. The key is you don't wanna have too much paint on your brush. But it's so quick and easy to get a really good stencil.
I tend to do that. I tend to put more paint on my brush than I should, and then it ends up going underneath the stencil and bleeding.
So what you want to do is have less is more. That is the #1 recommendation I can give you. You saw how little paint I used. You saw how little paint I actually put on the brush, and then I even wiped it off. So essentially you're working with a dry brush. I love that technique as well, where you're just brushing it on, and then you get just a little bit of that sort of rustic look, and it's picking up all the texture of that fresco texturizer.
Yeah, you can use so many different techniques. You don't have to do a solid color. You can do this.
Yeah, I love that. That's really cool. We'll peel away and just see how cool that is.
Ooh,
look at how rustic that is.
You can really see the texture underneath.
Yeah, and then if you look at this side, it's a little bit more solid. But I actually like it being somewhat rustic too, so I think we'll just leave that as is. Let's not forget tours until dusk. How cute is that? Who here has garden tours? Oh my goodness, I love that. Everyone should have garden tours. Could you imagine getting that together with your community and having a couple neighbors over and doing stencils like this? Have your own little paint night party. Today, for 1 week, there is a special offer, 10% off of these stencils from Funky Junk Interiors, which is really sweet of her. And there's also the Welcome to My Garden stencil. So could you imagine, again, just get together with your neighbors, have a really fun afternoon, and put some of these stencils together. So here we go, we take that off. Check that out, super, super cute.
Okay, and we always do the dark color first.
And why is that?
Well, if you're thinking of a sign sitting or vertically on a fence or a storefront, and the sun is in the, say, 11 o'clock position, you're going to be having the darker part of the lettering on the upper left side. So we're going to come along with the exact same stencil with a lighter color, and we're just going to drop the stencil down a tiny bit and off to the right a tiny bit. So it's basically going to be showing a shadow on the upper left-hand side of each letter.
All right, so that dries almost instantly because you don't use much paint on there. So you want to wait until it's dry to the touch, and then you can go ahead, oh, I got a little bit there. You can go ahead and do your second coat. Really, really straightforward. Okay, so what we do with the drop shadow, we simply put it back into place. And I'm doing this upside down, so I really have to think here.
So down towards me and then towards the window.
You just want to kind of have it offset just a little bit. Not too much, but just enough. All right.
Okay, so see how everything is just a little bit slightly off?
This is where the magic happens. It's so easy. I love it. All right.
So how about we do the word potting, and then we'll lift it up just so that people can see with that.
Okay, so I'm going to use a different color now, and this is one of my favorite ones. It is Lichen from the Michael Penny collection. It is a really soft sage green, sort of an old world rustic green, and I wanted something that was going to look nice, like in nature that you would find. I really wanted this to blend in. So again, you can dab or you can swirl. For the second coat, I kind of like to dab, but really super easy. And I just kind of, with my fingers, go across the stencil to hold it down a little bit. But these stencils are a 10 mil thickness, which means that it holds down really, really nicely. These come from MargaritaVilleStudios.com. They make all of these stencils here in North America, which is fabulous. And this particular design comes from Funky Junk Interiors. And I'm using Fusion Mineral Paint. It's a zero VOC paint, so if you are working indoors like we are today because it's raining outside, you don't have to worry. There's no awful smells or anything like that. So if you have any chemical sensitivities and you've tried other products, give this one a try. I can guarantee you are going to love it. All right, so we probably have a couple of painting pros here that love to paint and love to DIY and probably are looking for more tips all the time. We have a wonderful Facebook group called How to Paint Like a Pro. And if you're ever looking for more tips like this, you can always get them there too. And we are almost done here. And this is where we did a little bit softer. So I'm kind of going a little bit softer on this end. And we'll swirl over here. The beauty about this is the sign is supposed to look rustic. Again, so if you've never done it before and you're a little bit intimidated, you're going for that more rustic look.
Ooh, there you go. It looks like it's almost a bit of a 3D thing happening here with that drop shadow.
It is that simple. I just love working with stencils. I love working with the texture. I don't know if you can get a little close-up of the texture here. It's just so lovely.
Certainly can.
So it's like instant age. I just love it, love it, love it. Now, if you want to add a little bit more to it, you can always use an aging wax, like our espresso wax that we have, or we have a black wax as well. But I'm going to do a really light sort of coating, mixing a little bit of chocolate in with some water again, and doing a bit of a stain wash. And that's...
Can I just say one thing? At this point too, because there's some texture on, if you take some sandpaper and you just go across here lightly, you'll lop off some of that texture and it'll look, oh, it's a little
still too wet.
Yeah, you can get
you gotta
some
wait
really
till it dries.
Cool effects.
But it's really great because when it is dry and you do that, it's really fun. So let's just do a little experiment here over some of this area to see how that texture will pull, which is super awesome. Now it's high humidity here today, so the drying will absolutely take longer. But look at that. Just a little bit of that chocolate wash and it's instantly aged and darker all in these areas here. That is such an easy technique. So you really need very little to complete a stencil project like this. So a tester of chocolate, any of the colors that you like, a stencil, and that's it. It's really straightforward and simple. All right, do we have any good ideas for what you would want on your sign?
Let me see what we've got here.
There's so many great sayings. Go on to Pinterest and look up a couple things.
Okay, my sign would read Wagner's Zoo. Dandelions and poppies, 19... Oh, sorry.
I know dandelions and poppies.
Planted. Dream until your dream is real.
Oh, I love that.
From Georgia. And Jessica says, faith over fear.
Oh, that's good too.
Really cool.
I like that. So typically I would use a wax to go over this, but I thought, why not? We've got the chocolate here. We've got it mixed up. Why not use it? Just add a little water to it and get a really rustic effect. It's meant to look super duper old.
This is my circus and my monkeys.
That is good. I think we can all relate to that.
Be kind or go away.
And I'm just dabbing off, because if you pull across, you may lift up some of the paint when it's still super wet like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're like painted 10 minutes out, or well...
Not even.
Yeah.
But look at that. It leaves just enough behind. I don't know if you can get in nice and close over here to see it. I'm just blotting off. Blotting off the excess. That's it.
Yeah, it
look at
does
that.
Look
super
very
rustic.
Weathered.
And then what you can do is actually put a couple of old hooks on here and you can hang your tools for your potting shed. It helps to keep you super organized, because if you're anything like me, running around after a kid and trying to get other things ready and you still want to put a little bit of effort into your garden, it's nice to have your tools handy. So just a little recap of what we did. We stained our raw pine board with the chocolate from Fusion Mineral Paint here. Fusion Mineral Paint, zero VOC, wonderful built-in top coat, has exceptional coverage, really easy to use, it's self-leveling, so you get barely any brush strokes, but we wanted to create texture. So we added a little bit of fresco to it, and our fresco is our texturizing medium, and it's just a paint powder additive, and you can get that super old world rustic look. And this is all natural, zero VOC, no chemicals. That was added to our white. We brushed that on. And then we did our drop shadow stencil with 2 colors using our fabulous Stencil by Funky Chunk Interiors Old Sign Stencils. All right, do we have a winner for our contest? They are going to win everything that they need, including this stencil and the testers, to complete a sign like this. Yay, so exciting.
We do have a winner.
Awesome, who is it?
It is Krista Ray Conrad.
Awesome. Please, Krista, send us a message to Fusion Mineral Paint, and then we will take care of you from there. I hope that everyone has enjoyed this wonderful DIY. Be sure to subscribe because these are happening all the time. There's another one coming up in a couple of hours right here on Hometalk Live. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a good day.